All systems are a go.
Confirming all systems are a go. Launching the podcast.
3, 2, 1.
This is Hello from Mars.
Well, I think this is hitting at the perfect time, isn't it? We all need a break from 2021 already. What is going on in the world? Somebody help us. But listen, I mean, it has been a very crazy couple weeks. I am also going to apologize for what may happen to my voice as this podcast continues because I am incredibly run down. I am very well aware of it, and I am trying to get sleep in between recording podcast episodes. It has not been working out very well, so I either will sound like a prepubescent boy at times or a combination of Mickey and Minnie. I just can't help it. It's just one of those things. But I do want to start this week's episode with a wine time. Can we?
It's time to whine with Wine Time.
It's not going to be a wine time about my voice or the fact that I'm run down. It's about customer service. Can we talk about it real quick? Not even going to be like throwing the Postal Service under the bus here because they have been doing a fantastic job for us this entire pandemic. They've been working in like holiday mode since it all started last March, and then holiday time actually got here and they were like, well, you know what? Let's just see what happens. And nothing good happened, but we're still getting our packages and that's all that matters. Doesn't matter if they're like a month late. They're still getting to us safely. So thumbs up to those guys. What I am going to do is throw Justin Bieber under the bus. Not really him, but his like team-ish, if you will, when it comes to his merch. Because this situation is not the first situation that I've dealt with like this, where it's been like a hassle to get a refund. But this happened, it started pre-pandemic. So let's just go back to the beginning, shall we? We're going to like a little flashback to January of 2020 when the Biebs released his new album, Changes, right? And along with that, he had the single Yummy that came out. And if you went and ordered one of the CD singles, it was going to be hand signed and it would be sent to you. And it was like super cheap. It was like $8 and that included shipping. So I was like, sweet. You know, I've met this kid like 5 times. He never signs anything. This is the opportunity. I'll just throw it in my collection. It'll be great. Well, then the pandemic hit. Initially, this thing was going to take like 10 to 14 weeks to send. Totally fine. I get it. It was hand signed, you know, whatever. But then the pandemic hit and it got pushed back. Totally understandable, right? But then months went by. Like I realized July when I moved back to New York, I'm like, wait a minute, I still haven't gotten this thing. And I don't even know, like, can I contact somebody to like have my address changed? So I did. And they got back to me. It took like 2 weeks for them to get back to me. But address changed. Cool. Then, you know, a couple more weeks go by. Then 4 weeks. Then 10 weeks. And I'm like, not even a peep, right? Not even like, hey, sorry for the delay. So I started doing some research. And by research, I mean, I went on Twitter. And I noticed I was not the only person in this boat, this Bieber boat, if you will. So I started like, you know, tagging them, the company in tweets. And it took me threatening to contact the Better Business Bureau to get my $8 back. But I did it. It took one complete year, one rotation around the sun, but I got my money back. So anybody that might be in that same Bieber boat, just know that if you threaten with the other B of the Better Business Bureau, you will also get your money back. So let's get to Tops in Pop.
Tops in Pop.
As I continue to get squeakier and squeakier as this goes on. So it has been a very crazy week, and I just want to go back to Twitter for just a split second and say, praise the Lord, because now we are free of the Don. And I'm so glad that they hit you where the good Lord split you, sir. So yeah, no more Donnie on the tweets. So thank the heavens. You know he will find a way, though, right? Like he will access somebody else's account. It will immediately be suspended. And we'll be right back where we started, but it will keep happening. So Just be on the lookout for the craziness to continue, my friends. Also, Kim and Kanye are in the news. There is a good chance that they are separated, that they are getting divorced, that his presidential run was Kim's last straw. But that is a very interesting situation, and I don't know how that's going to go. And it could be all for publicity, because also in the last week, the Kardashians have finished filming for their final season. So we'll see if this was just a big old PR stunt. Dr. Dre, he is in our well wishes here at Hello from Mars. He suffered a brain aneurysm that left him in the ICU. He has been posting on social media some positive reinforcement messages and stuff. So hopefully that means he is on the mend, and we will get more from the rap mogul sometime down the line in 2021. And another big rumor, the rumor queen, Adele, possibly new album in February, so be on the lookout. I am going to talk more about Harry Styles, who's also been in the news when it comes to a romantic relationship that has popped up here in the beginning of 2021. There's an age difference. I'm going to get to that in just a little bit near the remainder of the podcast, but I've got to get to a friend, Julia, real quick here. She is my guest this week. She is somebody who somehow throughout this pandemic has found love. I don't know how you navigate this pandemic and just dating apps in general, but she has managed to make it happen. She is very happy, and she is going to talk to us about dating during this weird era that we are currently living through. I will apologize for the audio. I was going to try to correct it, but as you can hear in my voice, it would not have worked out very well. So, here we go. A dating conversation with Julia.
I was trying to think, when is the last time I spoke to Julia or, saw your face,
Right.
And it's probably been since, I don't know, last October, maybe?
The studio days.
Yeah, right. Studio days. Yeah.
Studio days. Right. I look back and I'm like, wow, such a different person.
Yeah. So I want to hear everything. I want to hear what's been going on since, then. I want to hear about, how you were as the pandemic started. And then I need to know all the things, because here we are. We were just talking prior about, being all safe and having a bubble and everything. How did you let a stranger into your bubble and then become romantically involved, girl? How did that happen? You're like, oh, I don't care about COVID now.
Right. Love overtakes COVID. So we'll start, I guess, since the last time I saw you, which was around the October area. So
yes,
I was just getting through a breakup.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the last time I saw you was So things have taken a drastic turn.
Sister, yes, they have. So I don't even count it as a relationship anymore. We'll call him Jim.
Oh, damn. Oh, man. I hope he's watching right now. Do you hear this, Jim?
Fuck you, Jim.
Things just got real. I gotta put an E for explicit on here now. Whoa.
So we, things were really rough, and I just wasn't getting the love I deserved. So, we had rekindled probably at the end of October to November. And then I was just like, you know what? This is not what I want. And I've never been that type of person to back down, and step away. And I was like, I'm not getting the love I deserve. I can
also attest to that, by the way. I didn't really know him, but I saw things, so.
Right. So I think everybody in my life saw it except for me until 2 months ago. But
that's how it always is.
He liked Friends. You know me, big Friends fanatic. So I had bought tickets to the Friends pop-up with my money, and he was going to come with me. And then someone from our old job got me Pat's tickets for doing them a favor. So he was going to come with me too. And I was like, I'm giving him the world, everything he likes. And what is he getting me? A burrito from Chipotle, and that's it. Seriously, I think that's all he bought me in the span of the time we were together. So I took a step back and haven't been with him since. Okay. And then January came and was applying to jobs at where. And
you. Okay.
Yep. So, things were getting big, and then I just was so sick of being denied from a place. And I said, you know what? I have to step away, but I'm still going to do what I was doing there, if that makes sense. You know what I'm talking about.
I completely get it, because the business that we've been in when it comes to radio stuff is, like a lot of other companies, it's very political, but when it comes to entertainment and radio, and favoritism definitely applies.
That company didn't deserve me, and I didn't deserve them. So I started to apply. Do you know who Hannah Wolfson is?
Yeah. She was doing photography stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah. So she used to work pre-COVID at a staffing agency. She was their office manager. So I went there, got some help, was applying to places in the Prudential building, and the week before COVID started, really started.
Right.
And was working at our old job. And I'll never forget, I was sitting in one of the areas, typing away, and got an email that said, all of your events have been canceled for the next week. The office will be closed Friday to next Friday, and we will see you the week after that. I have not stepped foot since.
That happened to me for where I have been in Boston, the Entercom. So all that's happening, and you're like, okay, I need a dude. I need one stat. I need a wife. I need a man.
Yeah.
So tell me more.
Yes. So I was talking to someone at the beginning of quarantine, completely different person.
Oh.
And I actually asked Sean, like, how do I word this? Because I'll have to tell you a different time, but it was a very intense situation. And I had to break it off. And I ended up becoming really good friends with the guy's ex-girlfriend. And I've known her.
I don't even know if I need to know more. I think I already know.
Yes. So she is in a group with one of my best friends that I've known for years. I've known about her, but never really talked to her. So we became friends, and about a month passed, and she posted a video of this guy who was like tall and burly, just thrusting his hips, dancing. And I was like, that is the most gorgeous man I've ever seen in my life. And here we are 6 months later, celebrating New Year's Eve in my house.
Wow. And so you spotted him, which social media? Was it on Facebook?
Snapchat. So he added me on, he added me on Snapchat, and we just got to talking, and he was so funny. And I actually met him. I had him meet me in Dorchester, and we drove to Hull. And our first date, I did, because I'm like all in.
Yeah.
So I got a cooler with his favorite snacks and his favorite drink, which is Arnold Palmer. And I made Are We Really Strangers game. It's a real game, and it's like levels of intimacy. So like it goes from like, what's your favorite superhero to what's your biggest fear?
Okay.
So we play that on the beach. And I think we were out till like 1 a.m. We went to Doughboy Donuts in Southie at like midnight.
All the Boston things. I just want to point out, you're being the SNL skit right now where you're naming all like the towns as you're going. Like the Fall River, and then we drove all the way to Somerville. And
yes. Yes, and so it was just a magical night. And then I think I allowed myself to meet him, like, because, you know, in the pandemic, it was in June. So I feel like that's when things were kind of like laxing.
Yes, because you were able to be outside. The numbers were they were way lower than they had been.
Down.
Yeah. And you know what? I was just saying that the other night, like, my birthday was different, but I was still able to have a few friends over because we were able to be spread out around a fire, you know? But having a birthday in January, it's like, what do? You're all
gosh, I was so upset because my birthday's April 2nd, and no lie, it missed the birthday parade shebang by like 2 days.
I kept saying, I'm like, I just want the fire truck to come down the street. That's all I want. I want, it's my birthday. Oh, wait. Yes. Right. I'm not 9. Okay, fine.
Right.
So you do this whole thing. What made you then move forward? Because you said are you living in his house or his parents' house?
I am. So we
But the pandemic, I know, listen, the pandemic feels like 10 years, but I just, don't pull a Demi Lovato on me, okay? Don't do the whole, like, all of a sudden you're engaged and you're, like, ready to walk down the aisle, because I see it in your eyes already, see? I see it.
Trust me, my boyfriend, because I actually joke around with Sean, and he's like, listen, my therapist told me to actually propose to someone, you have to go all 4 seasons with them.
Yeah, but the pandemic is like an additional 15 seasons.
Like, and that's the thing. So we did move quick, but I guess that's just the type of people we are, and it worked. So I was staying up there like 4 nights a week, and then we would probably have like Monday and Thursday apart, and then he would come down to Carver for the weekend. And it got to the point where the unemployment thing was getting cut off.
Yeah.
The $600 was no more. Your girl was broke. And I was going insane. I'm a hard worker. So I was looking for jobs, and I ended up finding the job I'm at now up near him.
Okay.
And I was like,
it made sense.
I'm like, I'm up here anyways. And I don't want to say it sucks, because it doesn't suck, but it's hard being away from your family. You get it. And I'm only an hour and a half, so I took a leap, and I love my job, and I feel like I'm on my own, but I'm not on my own at the same time.
Yeah. It's kind of like a little stepping stone. So that's good. If you were talking, I mean, I'm sure that you've had this conversation with friends and stuff. What are your like tips, maybe how to navigate this for somebody who is probably feeling alone and like wants to, get on Bumble or Tinder or Snapchat in your case, and try to navigate this in like the safest way possible? Like, what would you say to somebody right now?
I think you just have to play it safe. I think it's good to get to know the person, especially during a pandemic. You have to see how they're living through the pandemic. Like, are they in their house being safe, getting Grubhub, or are they going out to bars?
Right. Yeah. So it's hard to trust people. And I think that's where the dating becomes even more difficult now.
Right.
Because, I mean, I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't want to date in normal life, so don't even bother.
Right.
During a pandemic.
Right.
Y'all just keep your mask on and stay way over there. But for somebody who, now that we are 9, 10, 11 months in, there might be people like, what, okay, this is our new norm. We kind of have to learn how to navigate this.
And you feel lonely too, like, heck, I'm in a relationship and I have great support systems in both houses and all of my friends, and I'm feeling lonely.
Yeah. Well, that's because you're so used to a wider circle and like going out and doing things, and every day feels very repetitive right now. No matter what, no matter if you have a job or you don't have a job, or you're seeing somebody different this day than the next, it still feels very monotonous.
Right. And I said that to my therapist, because I got to see a therapist now, because that's where, truthfully, Corona has landed me. It's landed me.
But that's good, because
yeah.
What I've been saying, I mean, people, there's always a bad stigma that comes around with talking about mental health and just admitting that you're not feeling your best. And that really shouldn't be the case. We all need to take care of ourselves, and just be honest too. But that's the thing. Like, I've seen studies, like 75% or more of people have admitted that they are struggling during this pandemic. So if you think about that, and how many people are probably still hiding what they're feeling, I mean, it comes down to 100% of us are struggling this year. And it's okay to be struggling during the pandemic, because this is something that none of us have ever been through before, and it is not easy, because it's a complete life change.
And people are, struggling with money is such a huge thing too. And I think people who say money isn't everything, money is everything. I mean, it's how you pay for your food. It's how you pay for your car insurance. It's how you pay for all of these things. And I don't want to rely on money for happiness, but when you're struggling with it.
Well, if you look at So say like, you're looking at a therapist website or whatever, and they start talking about, the top 5 most traumatic things that a person will go through in life. It comes down to losing a job, divorce, death in the family, chronic illness, and I know there's something else there, but, people are feeling like getting all of that all at once right now. This is something where it's like you kind of have it maybe sporadic over a lifetime.
Right.
We're all dealing with it within a year span. So that's why it feels so much heavier than maybe it normally would. Because people are having relationship problems. People are having money problems. People are having people in their life or themselves get sick. There are people around us or, within our families that are dying. So that's why everybody is struggling so much. And then you're secluded. So it's been heavy. It's been a very heavy year. And I'm very well aware of why people might be like, you know what? Now there's no time better than now because there's like no end to the tunnel just yet. And it's like you need a companion. I'm glad that you found one. I'm glad that you had a good one this time. And if he hurts you, I will hurt him. Just
No, he truly is like the sweetest person I have honestly ever met. Like I have been focusing a lot on my hair lately, like trying to get it like Corona's like
fab.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Corona, at the beginning of quarantine, I focused a lot on like not using heat and this and that. But now where I'm working in an office, I have to look like presentable. So I use dry shampoo a lot.
Yeah.
And the buildup on my scalp is just like from the dry shampoo at the end of the week is just like gross.
I still like you.
Yes, but he'll sit there. I'll be in the shower and he'll open the curtain and I'll lean my head back and he will wash my hair for me and get the buildup off my scalp.
Wow. You did find a good one, didn't you? Holy crap.
Yeah, no, and that's what, like, when I compared to Jim, it's not comparable. It's like so different.
Yeah, I think you went from still kind of like a high school relationship to, this is the real thing. So yeah, you picked a winner. And you know what? I think this just proves it is possible to find love during a pandemic.
100% possible.
All right. So I gotta go find somebody that's gonna wash my hair. I'll be back.
Yeah, right.
You can check out some more with my friend Julia right now at Instagram and Facebook. Search Hello from Mars podcast. And maybe you too can also find love during this very weird time where strangers are frightening, at least to me. So don't try to date me. Not yet. But listen. Okay. So speaking of dating, I threw this up on my IG account. Again, Hello from Mars podcast or Marissa on the radio. And if you're checking the IG stories, you'll see some questions pop up every once in a while to participate in the podcast. But Harry Styles is rumored, or I guess we can kind of confirm it based on just like paparazzi photos and stuff, that he's dating Olivia Wilde. It could be a PR stunt. They do have a new movie coming out, but there is a 10-year age difference here. And I was just kind of throwing it out there, like, does age really matter? Because here's the thing is, like, I am very adamant about this. And there are people who don't agree with me, and I don't really care. But love is love, right? And age really only matters when it comes to your compatibility, I feel like. My grandparents were 13 years apart. So like for me, it doesn't really seem like a huge deal, but like that TV show that was on Hulu, A Teacher, the whole situation, like they were trying to portray grooming and whatever, and like abusive power. And yeah, I get it to an extent, but had they met outside of school, because this was like a student-teacher relationship, that student was 17 and 18 during this whole relationship that was blossoming, and they truly, like, it seemed like they were in love. So I don't know, like, some people see that show one way. I see it like a totally different way. Also, in New York, 17 is legal. So I'm just throwing it out there. Anyway, getting to your comments when it comes to this Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde relationship. A lot of people were totally cool with it. You know, it's really, it does come down to a maturity situation. So you might remember Kelly, who was on the podcast for episode 2. She's saying, as she said in that podcast, she has no issue with this. They're both successful. It's old men she has the issue with. Grizzle goes and says it's all about the legal lines. You know, if it's crossing a legal issue, and this kind of goes with the maturity, I think, as well, then that's where there's a problem. And Jenny also reiterates that. You know, she had obviously a very personal experience, a husband that was 8 years younger than her. Maturity was the big problem there. So, I mean, if it works, it works, right? If it's love, it's love. You know, don't go ahead and try to make it difficult or even let somebody else's negative opinion, you know, drive whatever your force might be. Because then, I mean, what are we doing? You know, it's hard enough to find a companion, but once you find them, don't let society be the one that dictates your relationship. We're going to have more coming up with Hello from Mars next week. Bill is going to be back. Hopefully I'll sound a little less squeaky, but he will be taking some of the strain off of my vocal cords. That's for sure. He loves his monologues. But be kind to each other, guys. Stay safe, and I will talk to you next week.
Oh, hey!